Jamie Foxx opens up about the Christian influence behind the character of Ray. If you guys don't know, Jamie Foxx played Ray Charles. Ray Charles is a legendary soul artist that has been around forever, and there was a biopic of his life, and Jamie Foxx played him very well, had time with him, and impersonated him well. Well, it's actually Kanye. One of Kanye's biggest songs was Jamie Foxx singing as Ray on Gold Digger. That was Kanye's like attempt to make a pop record, and doesn't perform that song. Stopped performing that song like a decade ago, over a decade ago. Yeah, because he felt like that was like kind of his sellout song, if you will. You know what I mean? So anyway, so he kind of opens up about the backstory of him playing Ray and how that all played into it. So,
and we're going in blind a little bit.
You wrote it.
Yeah. Well, sing it to me, man.
Sing it?
Yeah. It ain't like I can read the lyrics.
Ray was an independent film, so it didn't have a studio. As a matter of fact, the guy who paid for it, his name was Phil Anschutz. He's a devout Christian. He says, I'll do the movie, but the drugs bothered him.
Pause it.
He didn't like.
What's the guy's name?
Phil Anschutz.
Look this guy up. That's when you know you're built a little different. When you have the ability to just fund a movie like Ray with like A-list actors because you want to see a story that you feel like is parallel to a biblical worldview or Christianity. Because what people don't know, the interesting thing about like a thing like Ray is like people don't know that most of the artists who influence pop music today, Ray Charles, James Brown, Stevie Wonder, you name it, Muddy Waters, all these guys end up going and actually come from the church, and they end up impacting how music is made, create this new genre of rock and soul and blues, and all of that is rooted in black gospel music.
Come on.
So it doesn't surprise me that this gentleman, Philip, how do you say his name? Anschutz, invested in the movie Ray, an Oscar-winning biography of singer Ray. Anschutz is a billionaire who has invested in many entertainment and sports ventures. Anschutz backed Ray with $37 million after most major Hollywood studios had passed on the project. Anschutz is a fan of Ray Charles and went with his guts to invest in the film. Ray went on to win 2 Oscars with for Best Actor Jamie Foxx. Anschutz formed Regal Entertainment Group. Oh, that's interesting. Which became the world's biggest theater chain at the time.
Wow.
Anschutz developed LA Live, a 27-acre entertainment complex in Los Angeles. Anschutz also owns portions of 4 U.S. sports teams and 12 arenas. Anschutz owns the Anschutz Entertainment Group, which operates the second largest concert promotion business in the world. Interesting. Okay,
What do you think he thinks about profits?
what does this guy look like? I'm just curious. Interesting. I didn't know this dude was a Christian. I think I've seen his face before.
Looks like George Bush, AI.
All right, go back to Jamie Foxx explaining this.
Like the fact that Ray was doing drugs. So if you put the redemptive quality, I will give you the money. But he gave us half the money first, just to get us started. Phil Anschutz comes to New Orleans to check on his investment. So we recreated the Sanger Theater, 1967. This isn't in the movie. We got a 30-piece orchestra there. And when Phil Anschutz walks in, we're gonna do a song to show him, you know. So he's literally transported back in the 1967. He walks in, they hit me, and we do a Let the Good Times Roll. So when he walked in, hey y'all, tell everybody, Ray Charles in town. Got $1.25, and I'm just ready to clown.
This man's impersonations are flawless.
Insane.
Yeah. So in order to drive home the point that the movie was coming along, they do this whole live reenactment show. And Jamie can sing.
He can sing,
and
he can
play
play piano.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Tell everybody, Ray Charles in town. Got $1.25, and I'm just ready to clown. Don't let nobody play me cheap. I got 50 cents more than I'm planning to keep. Now let the good times roll. Bam, shine, shine, and oh, baby. And it's like the roof came off. And then I said, I'm not gonna break character, just walk me over to Phil Anschutz.
This man, this is next level, like geeky acting vibes. I'm gonna stay in character. You know,
but think about it. You know when you're like at Disneyland and then you're on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride and you're like teleported into this universe that then became a movie, right? And you're this billionaire investor and you're like, let's go see how are they doing? Are they doing it justice? Are they messing it up? Are they taking liberties? Are they not following what I said about some drug stuff, right? And you pull up and they
recreate a classic moment,
historical recreation, and then they play the character like you're at Ray Charles Disneyland. That's crazy.
Yeah, go ahead, play some more of this.
It is really nerdy.
to feel anxious. I said, hey, man, somebody told me the money bags was here, man. We need a couple of more dollars, man. And then he wrote the check.
So listen, this is one of those. If you guys haven't seen Ray,
Have you seen it?
Curious. I've seen it. Yeah,
I
I saw it in theaters when it came out. It was magnificent.
It's not old. It's not new.
It's older for sure. I think mid 2000s ish.
Wow. What?
Yeah, because Ray was still alive when they were making it. Ray Charles was still alive.
Okay, that makes sense.
This is the awesome part, is when you can either make something great or can make something great and know how to get it to a lot of people. You can then go on to do stuff like this, that the narrative of something, the narrative redemptive story of Ray Charles ends up inspiring, giving hope, and presenting a worldview of redemption.
Yeah.
And it may not be an on-the-nose Christian film where, it's preaching the gospel overtly.
Yeah.
But Ray Charles was a Christian. Ray Charles did some gospel songs. And that's one of those, that's like, I think people don't understand how powerful narrative is.
100%.
Like you just want, like, especially in Protestant circles, like evangelicals, like they just want like lowest common denominator, really on the nose facts.
They want the COVID vaccine of the Bible.
They want the COVID vaccine of the Bible, right?
And inject me,
just
most
give it
basic version.
Right, just give basic version.
Yeah.
And I think that there is a narrative part, there's a story part, that when people can tap into the narrative, it's like speaking to a different part of people.
Come on. But it's like the most deepest form of human nature. It like attaches to story.
Yeah, it's attached to story. This is why, in the Hebrew tradition, this is a oral tradition, because they would tell stories. They would retell the stories.
Hello.
And so story can be true even if the details aren't always accurate.
Yep.
So like there's things in this movie that they did to drive home the trueness of what's being communicated, the redemptive quality of Ray Charles coming back and getting clean in the latter half of his career, right? And the same thing happened in Jesus Revolution. There's details that in Jesus Revolution aren't
100% accurate.
100% accurate, but it's made for a 90-minute or 2-hour package, and that communicates something deeper than the particular details and the minutia of the details. And so, it's kind of like a parable. That's a great way to describe it.
Yep. And I would say, like, this is when we can all be very grateful for the Christian billionaires. I know we're supposed to hate Christians with money, but having someone like that being able to invest into a movie that needs to get kickstarted, right? Versus the pagan billionaire that invests in it and is like, you guys do whatever you want with the story.
Right.
And then the story gets sloppy, whatever non-redemptive story arc they want to spin the movie in, that's what they do. Whereas having the Christian that invests in it and says, hey, I want to make sure that people land knowing that there's a redemptive arc to this, it's like, that's awesome, because that's more media that is then pointing back to Christ. I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah, I think it sounds like there's a certain segment of Christians that don't want other Christians who are open about their faith to be open about their faith and successful. And in that, you then just have the pagans running the culture and running the institutions and running media and running everything. And if that's what you want to live in a society where there's little influence within media, art, institutions, education.
Yep.
You're gonna get that culture. You're gonna get that kind of culture because the Christians are fleeting, and they're afraid of the cities. They're afraid of the corporations. They're afraid of commerce. They're afraid of these things.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a big bummer. That's, oddly enough, some of the stuff we're addressing at the Bless God Summit is that we're doing 3 days, and the day one of the summit is starting with the worldview. Like, your worldview is day one. What do you believe about God? What do you believe about humanity? What do you believe about the ultimate story of the gospel? Apologetics, to me, is just the tip of the iceberg of worldview.
Yep.
So we're going to have some apologists there. We're going to have David Wood there. We're going to have John McCrae there. We're going to have inspiring philosophy there. All those folks are going to be there. But worldview is deeper than just like the facts about why the Bible is accurate.
Yeah.
Right? It's why the Christian worldview stands on its own. And then we're going to go from worldview into virtue, which is day 2. So we're going to talk about mental health. We're going to talk about physical health. We're going to talk about family. We're going to talk about all those things. So from worldview, it should impact your virtue. If you have a worldview of redemption and reconciliation and godliness and self-control and the fruit of the Spirit, but you don't have those virtues in your day-to-day life or in your home, then you're an incongruent disintegrated person.
100%.
And then from virtue, we go into the marketplace, commerce, building businesses, building ministries, building nonprofits, building that charity that you wanted to start, building that YouTube channel, that podcast. Yep. And we're going to be talking to people who've actually done it. So we're talking to Dallas Jenkins, who built 5 and 2 Studios. We're talking to Ryan Panetta. We're talking to Christian YouTubers. We're talking to Trizzle Fitness, who built a fitness business. We're talking to Lila Rose, who built the biggest, one of the biggest nonprofits that does work with the pro-life cause.
Come on.
Right? And I think all those things have to go together. But if your worldview is distorted, and you think big is bad, and you think that if you are a Christian, then you have one or two options. You have to go in the marketplace and be quiet about your Christianity, or you got to be quiet about your godly ambition to build wealth and impact culture. If you're into one of those paradigms, I think you're dead in the water. I think you're not changing anything. I think you're just in an echo chamber and you're talking to people who already hate the same things you hate and not ushering in anything. So Blessed God Summit, March 27th, 28th, 29th here in Southern California. And we have virtual tickets. So if you want to get a virtual ticket, you could bundle that with a t-shirt or a devotional. $50 for the virtual ticket. It's more than that in person. Come hang out with us. It's going to be a fun time at the Westin, which is a very, very nice resort. I can't wait to meet you guys in person, hang out with you guys in person. And yeah,